Hey, Troy. Thanks for your time. Wanted to see first how Kai is integrating into the team and where he stands. Obviously, he's in good physical condition since he was midseason. Um, as where things stand with him as the season approaches.
Yeah, he's been a great addition. He's someone that has come in and really fit in right away, not only from a style of play standpoint, but probably more importantly from a cultural standpoint, and tried to really onboard a lot of the things that we've been trying to build over the last year and a few weeks now. And you can see that he's someone that's going to provide a lot of quality for us. He's an excellent defender. He's been in pressure situations all his career, and he's someone that's very good with the ball as well. So I think that's we know we need to improve in that category, and he's someone that provides a lot of calm in that type of area. And I've said this to him directly. He's not your maybe stereotypical Australian where you may think in your mind's like a more of an extrovert. He's a little bit more of an introvert, but when he speaks, I think people listen, and he's someone that has a personality that is very important for what we need in our team, which is confident, calm, and experienced.
I want to check on roster situation with the various injuries and also your reaction to his Ted being traded.
Steve, say it one more time, man. You just got muted a little bit or muffled a little bit.
Just want to check on roster situation, injuries, and your reaction to Ted being traded.
Yeah, roster's still in the same place that we spoke about I think the last week. There may be some additions, but I don't think we've released anything on those yet, as well as I don't think anything has officially been released on Koo yet, so I won't comment on those things. Injury-wise, we're in a better spot. Connor's making more progress. We hope next week for him to integrate into some training. Jackson and Hakeem are going to be the two guys that are out for a longer period of time. And again, we have a couple guys with some day-to-day stuff right now that isn't so concerning, I would say, for the long term.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, that one, until that's announced, officially by the club or by MLS, then I'll provide a comment at that point.
Got it. Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Jason Anderson.
Hi, Troy. Thanks for speaking with us. Wanted to start off first. You've had a couple of preseason games now, and I know the results aren't really the important thing. It's much more process at this point. I was wondering what you saw from the team in those two games in terms of the process angle.
Yeah, what I see in regards to the matches we played, and then the training that we've had from IMG, we trained in DC for a week, and then we've been here for 4 or 5 days now, going into the match versus Colorado tomorrow. These 3 matches are going to tell us a lot more versus Colorado, versus Nashville and Houston, going into our first match versus Toronto. But I see a lot of competition within our group. I mean, it's very, very competitive every single day, and so every player is fighting for their spot, and I think that type of competition is going to only breed better results for us, both individually and as a team. And what we've been trying to implement as a team and try to make strides in hasn't been perfect in those first 2 matches, but it's also, I think, shown that some of the ideas that we do have moving forward of what we want to improve on, the team is more than capable of executing in those areas, and it's just going to take a little bit more time. I think you're exactly right. The process is what we're focused on, especially this early in the season, but we've also talked, Jason, about even in preseason, the type of mentality of trying to have a winning mentality is something that's very important to us. So the draw versus Red Bull and then a win versus the Battery, it is preseason, but we all know as a group that winning breeds winning, and that's what we're after. As much as the process is important, we're after that as well in preseason versus Colorado tomorrow, and that's something that we have to be focused on to take a big step in 2025.
I know we're supposed to speak with Kai after this. I wanted to ask a little from your perspective. Last year the team conceded a lot of goals, and a lot of those came in transition moments. How does he handle those moments? Is he maybe more of the defender who steps out and confronts the ball, or is he someone who maybe provides that layer underneath to sort of disrupt things that way or change the angle that way.
Yeah, so I mean, we obviously are a team that are aggressive when we press, and at times an opponent is more than capable of breaking through us. And we hope that we don't have those moments, but that's going to happen where they break through us. When that happens, his ability to control space is very impressive, and he's someone that has an ability to defend with a lot of space behind him. And beyond that, whenever I mentioned his ability to be calm with the ball, I think we found ourselves in more transition moments because we were trying to build and we didn't have maybe the ability to have the final idea consistently enough. And so then it would be a bad giveaway in a bad area, and that would cause us to have these transition moments that were wide open and we weren't prepared for. And so I think it starts before even defending. His ability with the ball is something that I think everyone's going to see is going to give us just a different look this year. And then lastly, like when it comes to defending moments in the box, he's very good in those moments. And yeah, I'm very excited to have him in our team.
Appreciate it, Troy. Thanks.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Donald Juan.
Thanks, Evan. Hey, Troy, good to see you. I wanted to start with this. There's obviously been a lot of turnover this offseason with a lot of new faces on the team. And so far during preseason, obviously you've had some moving parts come in and out. Which players are you turning to from a leadership perspective to kind of gauge the pulse of the rest of the players? And as this team starts to come together, who are you relying on from a leadership standpoint, both on and off the field?
Well, I mean, this is no surprise. The first person is Christian Benteke. Christian is absolutely our captain and our leader. And I think he's who everyone turns to make sure that, you know, we're going the right direction. And he always gives us the truth. And when he speaks, everyone listens. Beyond that, I think there's a number of guys that are going to step up this year and have a good voice. Someone like Kai, actually, as I said, he's not maybe the loudest one all the time, but when he speaks, he has a ton of experience at a really high level. People like David Schnegg again, they've been with us now for a period of time, and I expect him to have a good voice. Jared Stroud, Lucas Bartlett, Aaron Herrera, these guys, Dominique Badji, these guys are all, you know, experienced guys that have been with our club for a long enough period of time that they know what the expectation is, and they're ready to support Christian, and it not just all fall on Christian's shoulders to not only score and produce goals, but to be the leader all the time. So there's going to be a shared responsibility there with Christian being the main captain.
So you're saying Christian's going to have the armband, and then you
Absolutely.
have another set of guys that are
Yeah.
kind of around him in that leadership council.
Exactly. He'll be the main captain, and we haven't named the other captains yet, so that'll come towards the end of preseason.
Okay, and the other thought I had is during preseason, I know you're still trying to put everything together. You talked, Jason asked you kind of about how things have been going with the two games, but is there an area of improvement from last year to this year, from the beginning of camp to now, that you're stressing to the players on a regular basis?
Yeah, there's a number of areas. I mean, you know, it wouldn't just be one, but I think it does probably the areas that we are addressing address the topic of not conceding as many goals, right? And there's so many different areas in which we have to improve to reduce that number, and that's really what we're trying to get at.
Great, thank you, Troy.
Next, we'll go to Jose Umana from WTOP.
Hey Troy, just one question for me today. You mentioned we were about to talk to Kai. We'll ask him a little bit about his profile. But in your eyes, in these two games, what have you seen in terms of the defense, in terms of how you would like them to line up? We've seen you flip with 3 and 5 in the back and 4 in the back last year. So what have you seen thus far, and what could be the best shape for this defense?
Yeah, I say this often. I think there's going to be some flexibility and fluidity to what we do. I think if we're always lining up in a certain way, then it becomes really predictable. At the same time, we want internally to have the right structure that everyone knows what their roles and responsibilities are. And so that's you know, to answer the question before about some of the ways that we want to improve, that's part of it, both with the ball and against the ball. What does our structure look like very clearly? And Kai plays a pivotal role in that. You know, I mean, he's someone that whenever we don't have the ball, we do want to try to be aggressive, and we want to try to force the issue against the opponent. And so he has a big role to play in that. But then whenever the ball turns over and we're able to start to have it more. We want to have it more and be more efficient with it. And again, he's going to play a vital role in the first line for us to try to break down whatever the opponent throws at us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Next, we'll go to Dennis Gomez.
Hey, Troy. Thank you for speaking with us. MLS just released a statement saying that every MLS club has the opportunity to compete in at least one, but not more than 2 cups this season. And it says that the MLS teams that did not participate in Leagues Cup or CONCACAF Champions Cup will be sent to the U.S. Open Cup. How do you see this opportunity to, what are your aspirations in the U.S. Open Cup? And do you aspire to go back to CONCACAF Champions Cup and get another Champions Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate this question. And I'm someone that came from the lower divisions. I played in the lower divisions, and then I coached in the lower divisions for a number of years. And it wasn't until Red Bull that I had my first experience at the first division level. So that competition of the U.S. Open Cup is one that really means a lot to me personally. And I think it's a wonderful competition. And I'm really, really proud to represent DC United now in that competition because our club, I believe, have won it 3 times. And I would love to add a 4th trophy from the U.S. Open Cup as part of the legacy of our club. And so we'll absolutely try to go for that and try to compete as much as we can in that competition whenever those matches come around. I don't think they've been determined exactly when they'll be yet. But this is anytime there's an ability for us to compete for a trophy, we're gonna go in every way possible to do so. And then trying to compete in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, that's something that we want to get back to. There's no doubt about that. One more time, the history of the club is such that we've won it before. We've won the Champions Cup, the Champions League, and that's something that not many MLS teams have been able to do. And so to be able to get back to that competition for DC United, that hasn't happened in a number of years. That is absolutely one of the goals. We have to get to that stage first.
Thank you.
And if anyone else has their hand raised, please do it now. Otherwise, we'll end with Diego Reyes. Go ahead.
Hi, Troy. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. We've talked a lot about veteran presences and leaders within this group. I want to shift a little to the younger players and the newcomers. Players like Jose Kojima, who featured in the Red Bull match, and João Peglo, who scored against the Battery. First impressions, how are you feeling about their adjustment within the squad and just things that you've noted so far?
Yeah, both these guys are, I think, players that not only, again, fit our culture, fit our environment, fit our game model, but really, I think our fans at DC United are going to be so excited to see how these guys compete. They're really going to be proud of these players. Peglo is a wonderful talent, extremely hardworking, but very, very skilled player, as is Jose Kojima. Jose had a good season, I'd say, last year for St. Louis, and he's chomping at the bit to get reach the next stage of what his career is going to be. And he's a really, really talented player as well. And there's a number of other players that are very young in our team. And as you saw last year, if they're a young player and they're capable, they're going to get an opportunity with us. And so I'm excited for guys like this to be able to represent our club and hopefully take our club to the next level.